Is near. It'll be at 6:30 each Wednesday evening at Ridgecrest Baptist Church at 1820 McKinley Avenue in Vincennes. You can come and learn about last day events. The course is instructed by retired Army Chaplain Scott Rasco. It's called The Time Is Near. It's each Wednesday at the Ridgecrest Baptist Church on McKinley Avenue in Vincennes.
Have you ever missed one of your favorite local shows on WAOV? Ever missed the morning chat, Mark and Mark, or even financial questions, real answers? Well, that's not a problem anymore. WAOV has our local shows on podcast and easy to get to them. Go to WAOVAM.com and click on the podcast tab at the top to find your show. It's that easy. So if you miss Vintage Vincennes, legal news or views, or just the tips, listen to the podcast the next day. Go to WAOVAM.com and find your podcast.
Shop before you shop to maximize your savings and make every dollar go further. Check out the TOC Big Deals store. You'll find gift cards and gift certificates to area businesses at discounted prices from 20 to 50% off. Save money when you go out to eat, go golfing, buy shoes, shop for jewelry, and more. From goods and services to events and entertainment. Search by city, search by category, or check out our clearance category for even more savings. Open 24/7. Go to TOCBigDeals.com. That's TOCBigDeals.com.
The WAOV forecast now from the Brian Stevens Erie Insurance Weather Center. We'll see a high of 80 with rain continuing through the day, then a chance of rain tonight at 60%, a low of 63. A 20% chance of lingering rain tomorrow, a high near 82 and at 84 on Friday. Join us right here for St. Louis Cardinal baseball all season long on WAOV.
An insurance salesman and a car salesman walked into a bar. As a matter of fact, that's how all this began.
Farm Agency here in Vincennes, Indiana. Andrew Hines and folks walking behind me, sitting next to me, wherever he's at, is my co-host, the King of Cars, the Thunder from Down Under, the reigning world for a few more days, right?
Yeah.
Reigning world record holder of the most games of horse won in his own pool, the most honest car salesman I know, owner and operator of your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat dealership, my good friend John Yoakum. John, I'm out of breath from running up these stairs.
That's right.
All right, that was all in one breath. All right, guys, welcome to Just the Tips.
Welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's a little sad, you know. We're going to be closing the pool here pretty soon, and I won't be able to. Well, it's pretty sad you're out of breath from going up the stairs.
Oh, I thought that part too. We'll go with that.
No.
Yeah, man.
But
the
yeah,
pools are finally closed.
The weather's changing, all that good stuff, and fall's coming, and so pools are closing.
Most
it's kind of
definitely.
sad, but
Most definitely. Those of us without automatic covers and can't keep the pool 80 degrees. It's a whopping 69 degrees, I'm sure.
Ours is still holding pretty strong, but we'll see. But
so what's up?
Well, anyway, welcome to Just the Tips, John Andrew. We're glad you guys are joining us today. We have a good friend of ours, special guest, Brian Davis, assistant basketball coach at Vincennes University, joining us. So should be a fun, interesting show.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to their season.
That's
I think
right.
they've got a heck of a team coming in.
You know what? Every year we could say that, right? You can say, hey, they got a heck of a team coming, because they always seem to get some really good guys.
They do. They do. Yeah. They know what they're looking for, right? I mean, they've won a few games.
They've won a few.
But we'll talk about
They know how to win.
That's right. That's right.
But,
well, what you got going on, man? Where do you want to begin this this shebang with?
I always like to talk about fantasy football, but
I won.
I really don't want to talk about it.
Did you win?
Not this weekend, last week.
I just want you to say it a little bit louder. Can you get on the mic and say no, don't do it. Yeah. Did you beat him last week? Did you really?
I'm on a
But you've won two, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm on
okay.
I don't know if I've won two or not.
I had a pretty good week.
I've been on an injury train that I can't get off of with my fantasy
horrible.
teams.
What do you think of all that? So all the running backs seem to be getting injured.
Exactly.
Is that really why they're probably not paying them as much?
It could be.
I don't know. Last that long. They last about 2 or 3 games, and then they're getting a tar beat out of them.
It's in the words of Alanis Morissette, isn't it ironic?
Oh my gosh! Did you have a button for end the show now? Golly, that was deep. Have you been saving that?
I didn't even have that one written down.
Oh wow!
But anyway, no, it's funny that the spokesmen for the running backs are the ones that are getting injured.
Yeah,
and
interesting.
So who knows what it is? I mean, obviously, the way all these guys now are trained and the programs are on and stuff, I'm sure just they're getting hit hard. And they're also saying because of the turf football fields, that's why the injuries are happening, because cleats are getting stuck or whatever. And
Sure.
when you saw that Chubb injury,
Oh, I don't want to see it again.
it's gross. You know it's bad when the broadcast said, we're not even going to show the replay on
Yeah,
TV.
right. That was brutal.
So, yeah.
Otherwise, how are the Colts looking?
The Colts, they got the big W this
They
weekend.
did. What's his name again? Gardner Minshew?
Minshew, and then their
Yes.
kicker,
Yes.
I don't
Well,
know
yeah,
his
that
first
guy.
name, Gay,
Yep.
hit 5, or field goals.
Yes.
And
Unbelievable.
4
He was a
over
pretty
50
good pickup.
yards. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
So what do you think?
fun game to watch.
Should you have the gentleman that's on your jersey when he comes back? Should he start?
Richardson?
Or should it be Minshew? Should you ride the train out?
He's won 2 games in a row now. So if Richardson's ready to go, I think you still go to Richardson.
Right. He's a stud.
But I don't know. It's been good. It's
Can Richardson even buy a drink? How old is he?
Yeah.
Is he 19, 20? What is he? He played 2 games, I think. I forget what it was. It was something low. But so it's interesting. I'm still not a huge fan of the NFL. I love playing fantasy. I think it's kind of fun to keep up with everything. But I love college football.
Yeah.
So, are you keeping up with any teams in particular?
So,
There's this one from Boulder, Colorado.
I'm on
Anybody
the
watching
Colorado.
that?
Yeah, I'm on the
I
Colorado
love
train.
it.
Why not? Dion is a great coach, and it's fun to watch his TikToks and YouTubes or whatever he's
pretty
got.
motivating.
And he is. He seems like he's there for the kids, and you can tell. And if you can stick with his program, then I think he'll turn out good. But some guys that we've seen in the offseason, they all bailed on him. But
Well, he brought his Louis, and
he keeps receipts.
he keeps receipts. He's got some good lines, man. He really does.
He does. And you see the Oregon, what the Oregon coach say? He said, we're in it for wins, and they're in it for clicks.
Oh, clicks. That's right.
Clicks.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with that, but
The Oregon
it seems
coach
that
actually
way.
handled, I thought, pretty well overall. The way he handled it.
Yeah.
Now, Ohio State, that's a whole nother ball game.
Right.
So we don't have too many Ohio
was a
State
crazy
fans.
game.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I thought Notre Dame, man, they had it.
They did.
So-
Very in there. Game of inches, right?
So what else you thinking? Do we have anything coming up? Knox County events, anything in particular? We just had the touch truck. That was fun. We had a
Yeah.
great turnout for that. What else do we have coming up this fall? Anything in particular?
Man, I'm trying to think. I actually don't have anything
Until the
down for it,
holidays?
but, we've got, I know the Young Rotarians are putting on the Halloween
that's
bash
right.
again. They're at the Adams Coliseum.
Sure.
And I think that's the 21st of
It is.
October.
It's during fall break.
Coming up, so
Right.
that'll be cool. I think we're coming back in town for
Good,
it. So
good.
you can bring out your Forrest Gump outfit again.
You loved it.
I
You
did
loved
like
it.
it.
Ping pong paddle and all. Yeah, I don't know if we'll be back for it, but regardless,
Yeah.
that was great last year.
It was a good event.
Yeah.
It definitely was. And I don't know what else is going on, but I'm sure. Our county is pretty busy.
It is.
It seems like every weekend you got something you could do. I do know with our guests coming up, they've got
Jamboree.
some stuff coming up in October. They got the Jamboree coming
Yeah.
up, and they got a golf scramble coming up Friday. So
Yeah, we'll talk about all
there's some
that.
other things. Yeah.
Cool. Well, so couple quick questions. So, been keeping up with the auto strike at all? Have you seen anything
I have
else
been.
that's
I
been
actually
happening?
have that written down here.
So how many different plants? How many? I think
man.
it's insane right now.
It
I
is.
think are they? I thought I heard 38 lines.
38. So they went, at first, they went to one final assembly plant for each bit of the big three, which is Ford, GM, and Chrysler.
Okay.
Or Stellantis, if you want to keep track of the name changes.
I don't understand that. So is that the owner of Chrysler?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
So FCA and then I forget what the head name was, but Peugeot and Opel from over in Europe, they merged, and then they named it Stellantis.
Okay.
But anyway, so they did a major strike with all three of the final assembly plants for those. And now they went after parts distribution areas.
Here we
That was
go.
38.
Okay.
38 places. It's on their 12th or 13th day of
Yeah.
the strike. It's costing people millions.
They offered
and
them, what
millions
was it,
of dollars.
20%?
That's where they were originally.
And they won't accept that.
Right now, I don't think they're close on any of them. I know they did not go to any Ford places because they said Ford came out with a reasonable offer, but they haven't concluded it yet.
Yep. So what we're talking about is an increase in pay, increase towards retirement, everything.
Correct.
And it's just out of this world.
It's
a little much.
It's a lot all at once, but I mean, you can always come down, right?
Yeah, right.
You can't go back up. So
that's
they
what they're
started,
doing.
They started high, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, come on, try to meet us," you know. And
But what I thought, there was an interesting article here that I was looking at. It says Tesla looms large over the UAW
Sure.
strike, and that it's going to affect more folks. It's not just going to be our three.
Well, I mean, you know, Tesla is benefiting from it because they're not a union, and
Yeah.
Toyota is benefiting from
Yep.
it because they're not a union, and they put a thing on the news that was kind of striking. Like it showed that the
Do you mean to say that? It was kind of striking.
That's
It
fine.
was pretty good.
Intended there. But so they said, you know, the average per hour pay for the big three in the union was $66 an hour. The average pay for
the
Tesla
non-union
was $44.
Toyota.
that's-
Toyota's even less.
Yeah, that's a $20 or more spread
So
between.
if you're working for Toyota, what are you thinking of this? When you're sitting there
Right.
seeing the union going for so much more money,
Right.
how's that going to affect them?
And you got to look at how's that affecting the final dollar amount for the consumers on the vehicle they're buying.
Yep.
So Toyota could make this, you know, EV is the big thing now, and everyone's trying to get this electric vehicle. But
Yep.
the problem is the cost is so high on the EVs. But Toyota may be able to get it lower because they're only paying their people $20 less an hour, and that all adds up after when you put it all to pen and paper.
We all have to understand that it affects what? They keep on putting out there that it's going to affect the billionaires. No, it's affecting all of us because the final price is going to go up. This morning they announced several Target closures,
Yeah.
Target store closures, and what it's due to is not due to loss of sales. It's due to the fact that they've had all these grab and runs, all of the safety
Yeah,
issues
I
in
saw
their
that.
stores. It's insane. So ultimately, whenever the loss goes up in a store, $100,000, $200,000, they don't. They raise the prices.
Sure.
They've got to go ahead and counter that loss.
Yeah, you gotta come up with the money somewhere.
Correct.
And that's what they're doing, and that's the same way with this strike. If they agree to the terms they want to do, you're going to see values of everything. You're going to see the value of your parts going up. You're going to see the value of your vehicles going up.
Yep.
And it's hurting not just the unions right now, but also these part distribution centers and stuff. They're doing major layoffs for
Yeah.
this strike, and
I didn't
so
know that.
it's
Yeah.
hurting. It's hurting everybody.
Yeah.
But hopefully they can get it resolved soon.
Sure. Well, so crazy stuff. The other thing, I know we've only got a couple minutes, but is the not the strike, the budget issue, the shutdown, the federal government shutdown,
Yeah,
and how that always affects us. You know, we obviously have federal employees here.
Yeah.
We have our federal employees just here at the monument, and it may only be 5 to 10 individuals, but they shut that down. And then these individuals are community folks. I mean, these are
Right.
folks that live here, have to pay bills here, and whenever that happens, obviously their income stops.
Right.
So I can't remember. Does that? I assume it affects the postal workers as well. That's a federal job, is it not? How
I'm
does that-
sure.
I forget if that excludes that part of the business.
Right.
Because I don't remember them being pulled into it, but
Right.
but any federal workers, and isn't that crazy? You've got this group of individuals that obviously are the ones up at our Capitol that decide these types of things, and
Yeah.
it affects us on the smaller levels.
They want this big budget to be approved,
Yeah.
and
It's
they're
all
working hard, and they're going to shut it down to try to get it. So
Yeah, it's always political. So, anyways,
I'm
interesting
glad I'm
stuff.
not in politics.
Yeah, right. Future retarees.
Yeah, no thanks.
But interesting stuff, and obviously we'll keep keep an eye on all this, but it always affects us here on the smaller levels. So anyways, guys, you are listening to 97.7 WAOV, Just the Tips with John and Andrew. We must take a break. Don't forget, like us and check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Just the Tips with John and Andrew. We'll be right back with our guest, Brian Davis, Vincennes University men's basketball assistant coach.
Hi, this is Ed Ballinger. Join me weekday mornings from 10 until 11:30 on the WAOV Morning Chat here at 97.7, 97.3 FM, and 1450 AM. It's a program where we talk to community leaders as well as those having an event or a particular program. The WAOV Morning Chat with Ed Ballinger, where your friends and neighbors meet at 97.7, 97.3 FM, and 1450 AM.
The WAOV forecast now from the Brian Stevens Erie Insurance Weather Center. We'll see a high of 80 with rain continuing through the day, then a chance of rain tonight at 60%, a low of 63. A 20% chance of lingering rain tomorrow, a high near 82 and at 84 on Friday. Join us right here for St. Louis Cardinal baseball all season long on WAOV.
Folks, welcome back to Just the Tips with John and Andrew. Again, guys, we are excited to have you and to introduce our next guest, a friend of both John's and mine, the man with the hands, dribbling skills for days, top point guard from the region in the 90s. You may have heard about this guy. Future Lawrenceville Hall of Fame inductee, if you've got John's in my vote. I know that always counts. #1 assistant basketball coach in the country. With our reviews again, right? Vincennes University men's basketball assistant coach, Mr. Brian Davis. What is happening, Brian?
Welcome.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Man, you guys are good hype men. I need to
Put me on the mic. I'm ready. I'm ready.
make even somebody like me sound good.
We've been talking about getting you on here, man. It's exciting to talk about what you guys have all going on. But before we get into that, if you do me a favor, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know everybody probably already knows where you're from, what you know, but tell us a little bit about your track record, where you started in Lawrenceville, and then from there, where'd you go?
The huge town of Lawrenceville.
Yes, Lawrenceville Indian, class of 1995. So yes, I am old. But Lawrenceville, grew up in Lawrenceville, big basketball town. Grew up, played a lot of sports, but basketball was my favorite. With all the state championship teams from the 80s and all the great players and stuff, and just loved basketball and graduated from there and. Went to Vincennes University for 2 years and got my associate's degree and tried to figure out what I was going to do, like a lot of kids do. And always grew up because of my grandfather was from near Lexington and was a Kentucky fan and always had the games on and stuff like that. So I was one of the few people in Lawrenceville that were Kentucky fans growing up. Most were IU fans when I was growing up because of Coach Felling and because of how close it was to Lawrenceville, being an hour and a half away. So I decided to go to University of Kentucky, and that was a lot of fun and a great decision. And I decided to get on at Dunbar High School, which is one of the top high schools in the state of Kentucky, and be kind of a volunteer assistant for 2 years to kind of learn and get my feet wet and get something on my resume. And did that and had some good times. And then when I graduated, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was fortunate that Gus Gillespie was at Robinson High School from Lawrenceville, obviously, also, and asked me to come over and be his fresh soft coach out of college and then be a varsity assistant. So I did that for 2 years, and we had some really good teams with Nick Brooks and Tyson Snitker and Chris Brooks, and went to state and had some really good teams there. And then he left to go to Centralia. I went over to Lawrenceville, my old school, and coached for a couple years, and then was fortunate enough to get over here at VU.
Gotcha. Awesome. We lost all of our listeners when you brought up UK. It was great until that point. And then you said Centralia, and you lost me as well. I'm from Mount Vernon, and that was our rival. So, but cool stuff. And you've been here, you've been at VU for how many years at this point?
This will be year number 19.
19. Wow. You've had some awesome players come through here. You have a wall of fame, of all the people who've gone, what, NBA, or is it all D1?
We have an NBA wall. We've had 12 former players players make the NBA, 2 since I've been here with Michael Mulder and now Craig Porter.
I was about to say with Craig Porter.
Yeah,
Tell everybody. So Craig Porter played here, what, 3 years ago now?
He played here. He was a freshman on the 18-19 team that won the national championship.
18, 19. Lord, it seems like yesterday.
Yeah, and then he had a chance. He came back as a sophomore in 1920. I think we had a pretty good chance to repeat, and it got cut off for COVID right before, a couple of days before we were going out there. So we had a number of good players back from the previous year, and then he went to Wichita State, and now he's on a 2-way contract with the Cleveland Cavs. So great story.
How big is that to people like that? Because I don't even think I fully understand how the NBA works with that. Like, you've got the G League. How has he over the past couple of years gotten to that stage?
It's so hard. It's so competitive, like any business. There's only 30 teams in the NBA. They have, 13 spots maybe. It's something like 450 players in the NBA. Each team can have two-way players that split time in the NBA and then time with their G League affiliate. Minor league baseball, they've done here now at the NBA. And there's so many games you can play at the NBA level, and they have to pull you up and be a full-time NBA player. So we're hoping Craig can do that. He had a really good summer league in Las Vegas this summer. They won the NBA Summer League Championship out in Vegas. He was a starting point guard for that, played really well. So I think they have a really good point guard, Darius Garland, for the Cleveland Cavs. They're in the playoffs with Donovan Mitchell and all them. And I think Craig got a chance to be the backup point guard. We'll see. But great kid and just such a great success story coming from Terre Haute South, and he grew up so much the 2 years with us and then at Wichita, and we're pulling for him.
Oh, definitely.
Do you still keep in contact with him pretty well?
Yeah. I texted him a few times this summer when he was playing, and you try not to bother him because they're busy and he's got stuff going on with his dreams. But yeah, stay in touch with all the guys that have played here. That's the thing that we do really well, I think, at VU is not just have them for the 1 or 2 years and then they move on and that's kind of it. We really try to stay in touch with all the guys, and they stay in touch with the program, and so it's really a big family.
I don't think people understand also how sports really works with that, is that you guys, between you and Coach Franklin, it seems like you start such a communication with them initially. They spend a lot of time with you, and you keep in touch with a lot of these guys. I remember seeing, or just hearing you guys talk, that during the season you'll have other old players just check in, come in. It's pretty cool. Is that typical for teams? Is that typical across the board? Because you also speak to other coaches. You speak to other teams.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would say that the good programs do stay in touch with their players and former players. You start recruiting these guys when they're 16, 17, 18-year-old from all, just this year's team. We have 5 international players. We have players from Washington, D.C., all over the place. And you start talking to them when they're 16, 17, 18 years old. You have them till they're 20, 21 in most cases, and then they move on. And, we got players now that have families and careers and stuff. So it's really neat to see them when you knew them as an 18-year-old kid, new to everything, and now they have their own families and kids and jobs and careers. That makes it really worthwhile, because we not only try to get really good players, but really good people that are successful and in the community and give back, when they're done.
Yeah. That brings me to my point. I got a little thing to say, but so you guys were national champions in 2019 with the NJCAA. Since you've been with them, you had the championship. You've had, I got written down here, 12 tournament appearances, and you have 4 Final Fours. You were talking about recruiting with guys from out of the country and everything else. How do you start that process, and how do you even see these guys or find these guys?
That's a good question. I get that a lot.
How many trips do you make to Canada, Brian? VU's budget has got to be insane.
That's right. I was hoping to take some trips to Hawaii and Puerto Rico and take the wife and kids and go recruit there, but I don't know if they'll go for that or not. But it's you've done it so many years. Like any business, you make so many contacts and connections. It's become easier now with like Twitter and social media. You can see videos, at least clips, to get you somewhat excited about a guy and get some names and to make contact with guys. And then you want to do your due diligence and all your background information. But most kids, you know, they grew up wanting to go to Duke, Kentucky, you know, Kansas, North Carolina. They don't grow up saying, I want to go to junior college or I want to go to Vincennes, even as good a program as we are. So you got to tell them about why it would be a good fit for them, why it would benefit them, how, you know, what kind of scholarships we have, where you can go from here, what you can do while you're here for a year or two. So there's, you know, you try to break down all the players that have played here, you know, and just all the advantages and all the things that make Vincennes University unique and why it'd be a good fit for them.
So what gets it, so say you're looking at a guy from Sweden or whatever, so how would you find, would like Twitter be the spot where you start, or do you have contacts overseas too that maybe call you and say, hey, you need to...
Yeah, even as much editing as AI can do now.
Right.
Can you imagine, like, man, that guy can really play, and he gets over here and you're like, what happened?
You cannot recruit just on highlight videos. Everybody seems to make every shot, get every rebound. They're really good
They
on
don't put the
highlights.
misses in those videos?
No, and you know, and one thing we've learned is whatever height somebody is listed as, you can take off at least an inch, probably 2 inches. So if they're
It used to be an inch,
now it's,
the
you
program
know,
was always an extra inch.
It's we didn't have one kid visit that was the height that they were listed at. Not one.
Right. Or in the shape that maybe they have.
Yeah. And it's never the other way. They don't say they're 6'3", but they're really 6'5". It's the other way. But a lot of it, we do have we have a lot of connections in Canada. We've had a lot of Canadians. But then, you know, we have connections through other countries and things, and then we have scouting services that we pay for. You know, we try to recruit within a 5-hour radius as much as we can. Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, because there's a lot of good players there. It's easier for them to know about Vincennes. It's easier for them to come take a visit, all those type of things. But we got to get the right fit. So we'll get players from anywhere, but we always start inside out. But, you know, the kid from Sweden had signed with Mineral Area College. Their coach had left and went to a Division I as an assistant. And we knew him, so we kind of started the ball.
Nice.
So each case is a little bit different, but it's just, you know, who you know, and then having a good reputation where they want to send their players to you, that you're going to take care of them and do them right.
I think it's one of the first things we look at. I know we have started definitely going to as many games as we possibly can, and one of the things you look at when you look at the program, you're like, how did they get this guy from, you know, whatever country this is? I've even had to look up the country. Actually, your wife and I were looking at, you know, one of these, and we were like, where is that? You know, not at VU, but another school. So obviously we'll get into this, but just briefly, who all do you have coming in for the Jamboree? The Jamboree, if you can explain that real quick.
Yeah, we have one of the top jamborees in the country. What it is a preseason scrimmage to get our guys some exposure. We'll have a lot of Division I coaches come watch, Division II NAIA, and then it gets some practice to get going before we play on November 3rd for our first real game. So there are 3 scrimmages. It's on Sunday, October 8th. We have 28 teams coming in from all over the United States. Even we have a team from Canada, a prep school. We have mostly junior colleges and prep schools. Everybody plays 3 games. It starts at noon on the Sunday, October 8th. It's only $5 general admission to watch 42 games. We have 7 courts going at once. Wow. 6 different time slots, so 42 games for $5 for the day. It starts at noon. It'll be over by 6 o'clock. I know that's NFL football day for a lot of people, but hey, you can watch some games on your phone and then watch the Jamboree. And if you're a Blazer fan, it's the first chance there to watch us play 3 games and see what we look like.
We'll talk a little bit more about that. We got to take a quick break, guys. You're listening to Just the Tips with John and Andrew. Don't forget, like us and check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Just the Tips with John and Andrew. We'll be right back with our guest, Brian Davis, Vincennes University men's basketball assistant coach.
From the JT's Restaurant and Bar, WAOV News Center, I'm Tom Lee reporting. The Knox County Solid Waste Management District is accepting cardboard products from both houses and businesses right now. SWMD Director Michelle Smith says they're making at least some profit right now reselling the cardboard for recycling. The new location is at 810 South 17th in Vincennes. Vincennes University will hold a town hall meeting featuring Washington State Senator Eric Bassler. That'll be 5 until 8. Tomorrow evening at the university's Governor's Hall. The meeting will discuss The new PACT Act, the Town Hall Forum, open to the public. A series of virtual forums will be held next month to help businesses damaged by the March 31st tornado that hit southern Sullivan. The session is hosted by the Sullivan County Long-Term Tornado Recovery Coalition. The first meeting will be at 4 p.m. Monday. Other sessions will be on October the 5th and October the 10th. Organizers hope the 30-minute forum will lead to more volunteers to help. And NDOT reporting lane restrictions scheduled for Monday on State Road 64 in Princeton. Eastbound lanes will be restricted over Richland to Creek near US 41. We've got more at WAOVAM.com. I'm Tom Lee, WAOV News.
Mixed markets as corn and beans go higher, wheat on the downside. This is Hoosier Ag Today and the Wednesday closing farm market report. Oil strong today, crude up, very solid, and also soy oil strong, pulling soy futures higher, but as soy oil dropped later in the trading session, so did the bean market. December corn finishes up 3.5 cents, 4.83 1/4. March up 3 3/4, 4.98 1/4, and May up 4 cents, 5.06 3/4. A fall off in beans with November 13.03 1/4 up, but just a half cent, 2 points higher. Jan contract 13.23 and March up 3 cents. Chicago wheat down 5.79 1/2, a loss of 9.5 cents. The meat market's mixed. December live cattle 188.17, down 30 cents, and December lean hogs 72.77, up 42. I'm Andy Eubank, Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
There's nothing predictable in farming. Until now. Pivot BioProven 40 microbial nitrogen doesn't leach, denitrify, or volatilize like synthetic nitrogen. And Proven 40 stays with the corn plant throughout critical growth stages. Start with Pivot BioProven 40 as the predictable foundation of your nitrogen management plan. Contact your Pivot Bio sales rep today to get the lowest prices of the season. Visit pivotbio.com. That's pivotbio.com.
South Knox wins over North Knox in soccer. Vincennes Reveille ties Mount Carmel. I'm Tom Lee with the WAOV Radio Sports Beat. In boys soccer action, it was 9-2 South Knox over North Knox. Braden Loudermilk with a hat trick for the Spartans. Also 2 goals out of Gavin Charleston, Elliott Lancaster, Caden Grumio, Ross Holscher, and Blake Sutton at the other South Knox goals, and R.J. Ketzel and Tavion Smith scored for North Knox. Vincennes Reveille tied Mount Carmel 2-2. Goals out of Fisher Lemon and Walker Lane in the tie. Brody shots at 8 saves. The Lincoln volleyball team lost 3-0 to Bar Reeves. South Knox a 3-1 winner over Evansville Christian, and North Knox also a 3-0 winner over Bloomfield in volleyball action last night. And that's a look at sports. I'm Tom Lee, WAOV Sports. Here's another community event from WAOV. Hope's Voice is looking for victim advocates. The training will introduce you to the agency's philosophy and orientation. Volunteers are also required to have criminal background and reference checks. Orientation and ongoing training includes crisis intervention, safety assessment, information and referrals, and more. To set up an interview, call 812-642-4426 for Hope's Voice. The WAOV forecast now from the Brian Stevens Erie Insurance Weather Center. We'll see a high of 80 with rain continuing through the day, then a chance of rain tonight at 60%, a low of 63. A 20% chance of lingering rain tomorrow, a high near 82 and at 84 on Friday. Join us right here for St. Louis Cardinal baseball all season long on WAOV.
Folks, welcome back to Just the Tips with John and Andrew. Guys, we're here with our guest, Brian Davis, Vincennes University men's basketball assistant coach and future DJ for 97.7 WAOV. He likes the music you're putting down, Scott.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Oh, man, he just said it. I was going to say, if anyone could guess what movie that was from.
There you go.
Yeah. I've watched it about a million times.
Oh, without
Who
a doubt.
doesn't watch Rocky IV? I mean,
That's great.
if you haven't seen that one, then just don't even watch them, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a different show. They talk about all the movies on a different show. Yeah.
It's on Tuesday. But we can still we can
completely talk about Rocky. That's universal.
That is.
Brian, we were talking about the upcoming Jamboree and how many teams, one more time, do you have?
28.
28, and they range from where to where as far as demographics?
Well, we have the team
Geographics, excuse me.
Yeah, we have the team from Montreal, Quebec coming in, who one of our players, one of our freshmen had played for, so they wanted in. We just added Southwest Tennessee out of Memphis yesterday. We've had
That's
teams,
a new one, isn't it?
Yeah. They've had some really good teams. They have one of the top sophomores in junior college this year. 6'7" kid is pretty good. Should bring some coaches. So we have teams all the way out to Missouri, Moberly, who's a traditional power, and John A. Logan, the defending national champions.
Any of the Mississippi teams?
Not this year. We've had some in the Kiwanis. We've had Northeast Mississippi.
That's what it is.
Yes, and we've had some good teams for that too.
Okay.
And some of these teams that are in it are teams that you guys are going to be playing throughout the season also, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of the teams in our region. If you're a fan of, want to see what Wabash Valley, Lincoln Trail, Almy, some of the local teams look like, they'll all be in it. And a little bit of everything when you have 28 teams.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 42 games.
Yeah.
Going out to, so you have your national championship, you have that tournament out at, they call it Hutch, right?
Yes.
I mean, so Hutchinson, Kansas, is that right? And the team you're talking about, for example, in Memphis, are they a part of this Division I JUCO? So would they technically be able to qualify to go out there? They would be somebody that you could meet out there.
Yes, they could. We've played them out there since I've been at one of the trips out there. They have one of, if not the top team in Tennessee, usually. They're one of the top teams.
Not Dyersburg, huh?
Not Dyersburg. They've had some decent teams, but usually Southwest Tennessee, Columbia State, who's on our regular season schedule. We play them this year early.
Okay.
Walter State is usually really good.
Where's that?
That's, I think, in the Knoxville area.
Okay.
A good friend of mine actually played there that was an assistant with me at Vincennes, John Stooksbury, back in the day. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
So these are a lot of the folks you'll encounter. Wren Lake, though, for example, they're not a Division I. Wren Lake out of Southern Illinois.
Wren Lake is a Division II, and they got a good program with Coach Gamber and Coach Creel from Mount Vernon. But they'll be in it.
One of the cool things, I like taking hard rights, is so Coach Creel's youngest son is going to be playing. He was the walk-on up at IU this year.
Yeah.
So from my hometown.
Yeah,
which
Jackson Creel, a good player at Wren Lake, and walking on at IU, so that's pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, very much so. So you were talking about the recruiting efforts and what brings them to Vincennes, and I know we're a small town, just like even Mount Vernon or any of these other places that you have schools at, but I think one of the things that people don't understand, because it's not like we go out, most of us don't go out just visiting all the JUCOs, all the junior colleges, but looking at the ones that I've seen, our campus is way above some of these others.
Yeah, I've not been to all the junior colleges, obviously, but I've been to a lot of them throughout, all the way down to Florida and Kansas, and as far as Arizona, New York, and I think Vincennes University is as nice or nicer than any junior college that I've seen. Just number one, it's a university. I mean, you're on a college campus. There's 7-8 dorms. There's dining center is really nice. The arena, is 4,300 with a replay board, and it is a nice campus, and it's a nice community. Although it's not big, it's obviously all the things that you talked about earlier, and the people here. It's a great community and loves basketball and sports in general. So when we bring kids on a visit, they're surprised that it's a 2-year school. It's a junior college because most don't look like this.
With a lot of 4-year degrees. That's what's interesting about it as well. But you're right, the regular junior college doesn't have this campus.
No, the campus
the gym, everything, all of the complex, everything.
They've done a great job with the campus. It's very nice. They really keep everything up. There's always new buildings going up, and the gym. We have 10 full courts on campus between the rec center, the main gym, and Belis Gym. A lot of junior colleges have one court that they're sharing with men's and women's basketball, volleyball. They might have 2. We have 10. We have 2 weight rooms. It's really, aquatic centers, unbelievable, with zip line and rock climbing, hot tubs. So it's really not that hard to recruit to Vincennes, you just sell all the great things we have here.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I can remember last year you guys played a team, and I can't remember what their name was, but they didn't even have a gym. They were their gym was occupied by students or refugees, I think, honestly. And I can't remember what the team name was. They only had 5 players.
I think it was Daly from Chicago.
Okay, yeah. And they were talking about how great Vincennes was because they had all this other stuff, and they didn't even have a gym to practice in. So
I didn't even know that.
Pretty unreal.
I heard about the team with 5 players. Having to play a whole game.
And those guys played their hearts out.
Yeah, we played them home and away. When we played them at their place.
Yeah, where'd you play at their place? I'm sorry, I'm curious where this is
going. It wasn't at their
United
gym.
Center?
No, that'd be nice.
Yeah, right.
No, it was.
I don't know. Is it still called that? Yeah.
I don't even, off the top of my head, I don't remember which school we played at. It was not their gym though. You know, the city colleges of Chicago have their own community college system with Kennedy King, Malcolm X, Daly. There's like 5 of them, and we played at one of the other schools because they didn't have their gym because, like you said, they had refugees staying there. They couldn't practice. They lost. The coach used to coach at Kaskaskia in Centralia. There was the coach there last year, and he was telling us about it and how he lost players at the semester because a lot of their players were from Chicago because they don't have dorms and things that we have here at Vincennes, and they couldn't get to the gym. They couldn't get to the school. A lot of stuff was online. It was a mess. So they had 5 players.
It's pretty crazy.
Unbelievable. 1 fouls out, they still play, right? Four against 5, 4 against 12. Whatever it may be.
We need some more full timeouts, please.
Exactly. So I know since John was recruited to UK or IU instead of to VU, but were you around? Were you coaching yet when he was in high school? Was it that was off by a little bit, wasn't it? Because he was already in college, probably right when you started.
I was 05.
My first year, we had one of my first recruits, or our first recruits, was Jeff Mattingly.
Was it? Okay, so that's the same place.
There.
Was our first year here in 2005, 2006 was my first season. So.
Because John was already committed.
Right.
He had already signed.
We tried to get John.
See,
I can remember.
I just want to I want to air this out.
Right. It was probably my junior year, I think, and Sparks was still there, and I remember Jeff and I going and practicing with the VU team. After our season.
How was that?
Spring.
As a high schooler, do you ever do that? Is that something that you're able to do?
We can if it's kind of open gym. We don't do it a lot because of rules.
That's what I was wondering. I'm sure there are some.
It was more like it was an open gym style, but yet we still did some drills and stuff.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool being a high school kid and being there with with the college kids and playing against them and trying to, beef up to them and see if you can handle it.
That's pretty cool.
But it's a very different league from high school to college. No matter what program you're at in college, in collegiate athletics, it's definitely a step up.
We've got a couple minutes before our final break. Well, you've got this Friday. You've got a big event. You've got your golf outing. What all can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's the Scramble for Hoops golf outing this Friday out at Cypress Hills Golf Course. It's the 22nd, I guess you can call it annual. We had to take a few years off for COVID and things, but it's just to help benefit the men's basketball program for post-game meals and different things for the guys and kind of help with summer school and things. But I think we have 17 teams right now. I believe we can still get, if anybody wants to golf or teams in, you can still get in. Get a hold of me. Probably email bdavis@vinu.edu if you're interested. But it's going to be a fun day. You get to play golf, and the VU basketball team will be out there about 3:15 to meet everybody and kind of hang out, and you get lunch with it. And kind of the weather's supposed to be great this Friday, but just kind of a fundraiser to help with the guys for post-game meals and different things, and play a little golf on a Friday afternoon and get ready for the season.
Nice. Yeah. I think people forget that these are young guys. These are students that are away from their homes. They're here, and they have little siblings as well, a lot of them, and they're, seeing them interact with the kids. I'm sure the camps are just as cool, but seeing them interact with kids, even just at the Touch Truck event that we had this last weekend, is just cool because, they're all smiles. They're young guys, and it's cool to see them interact like that. So
yeah, I know they had fun at the Touch a Truck event you had, and said it was a good deal, and they enjoyed it. And they like, they're just good people, and they like to, like I said, they're 18, 19, 20 years old.
People
and-
forget that.
Yeah, and you want them to be, know all the stuff and do all the stuff that we do as adults, but, you think, I know me personally,
I
think
was
back
about to
when
say,
I was,
yep.
when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, hopefully I'm a little bit smarter and mature now, but,
I'm just a hair. Just not much, but just a hair.
You said just a hair.
Yeah, I had a little bit of hair then, not a whole lot, but,
John's full of it today, man. I like it. Guys, we're going to take our final break. You're listening to Just the Tips with John and Andrew. Don't forget, like us. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Just the Tips with John and Andrew. We'll be right back to wrap things up with our guest, Brian Davis, Vincennes University men's basketball assistant coach. And John, what do we have for
We
him?
got the quick fire round.
Do you have
coming
it? Oh, you don't have the sound effects? Oh, you threw it on?
got it.
We just don't. Oh, psh. All right, guys. We're going to see y'all shortly.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers, and today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
Everyone deserves a safe place to work. When driving in construction zones, read the signs. Slow down. Save a life. We're all in this together.
The WAOV forecast now from the Brian Stevens Erie Insurance Weather Center. We'll see a high of 80 with rain continuing through the day, then a chance of rain tonight at 60%, a low of 63. A 20% chance of lingering rain tomorrow, a high near 82 and at 84 on Friday. Join us right here for St. Louis Cardinal baseball all season long on WAOV.
Folks, welcome back to Just the Tips with John and Andrew. Guys, we're here to wrap things up with our guest, Coach Brian Davis, Vincennes University men's basketball assistant coach. John has the goods.
I do. Yep. We got the quick fire round. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Perfect.
Regular? No.
So our 100,000 listeners already know the first two questions that I'm going to ask. First question I got, are you an iPhone or Android user?
I don't even know what Android is. iPhone.
We just have to trash his case. That's all, man.
He's got IU colors with a UK back on it.
That's St. Louis. St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, that's St. Louis. Okay. I got it. Next question I have, would you rather call or text?
Text.
Text. So with the recruiting process now, one cool thing when I was in high school was always getting the call from the assistant coach or whatever, like at night, and they're from the colleges they're recruiting you for, and you talk to them for a while or whatever. Do you still do the calls? Do you text, or what is it?
Mostly text. Just, I don't think a lot of 17, 18-year-old kids want to talk, have a long conversation. They got other stuff going on, and so I usually text and get right to it. But if they want to talk, it's good to talk to them. But more text.
More texting.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right, so everyone's streaming shows right now, watching good stuff. What show are you currently streaming?
I actually know where this is going. I mean, it's going to be a murder mystery. I'm ready.
Actually not. No.
Really?
No.
Is it Suits?
We just started season 3 of Suits.
Nice.
Just watched the season premiere last night.
Yeah.
It's really good. We're, we got so much stuff going on with the kids' sports and everything now, so we can't watch as many episodes as we like. But we're, season 3 of Suits. It's good.
It's definitely a show you can't stop watching. Those guys play so well together, and just the dynamics of the
I was
show.
doing
is just
3 episodes a day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, anytime I get going on it, it's just, you got to hurry through
Yeah.
it. But this man is, and Megan, more murder mysteries. I've never met anybody into this. You guys will be investigators by the end of all this.
Oh, it's 48 Hours, Dateline 2020. All the season premieres coming out right now.
Yeah, nice.
We're
I love 2020.
With the writer's strike, strike and everything going on, you may have to
But it's back.
wait a little bit.
Writers are back.
They just agreed tonight.
But then they said something about the actors.
Yeah, the actors.
I didn't know
still
anything
have
about
not-
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
actors still have not agreed, but the
Interesting.
writers and directors, I guess,
Yeah.
are good now. So we may have to wait a little bit longer for our premieres, but we'll see.
That's striking. Good Lord.
So we've already kind of talked about a little bit of music, what music we want Scott to play as our intro, but what's your favorite kind of music?
I don't know if it's a kind of music. I like 90s.
Just period.
Just the period is 90s. That's kind of was my, growing up, middle school, high school, college, 90s. I like country and a little bit of everything, whatever's good.
All right, nice. And I wouldn't be a car guy if I wouldn't ask you what your first car was.
Where'd you get your tires? Let's start.
That was not a problem.
Yeah. Where'd you get your shoes?
I had a 1985 Chrysler Laser.
Oh, nice.
If you look it up, it was silver with a red pinstripe, nice little hatchback in the back. And 1985, Chrysler Laser, $2,300, I believe.
So I still have a model car of a Laser, and it was black. I don't know if my dad got it from when they first came out or what it was, but I still have one, so I know
There you
exactly
go.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool car.
Yeah.
So one question I have with basketball-wise, what is the tallest player that's played for you?
That would be Romaro Gill. He was 7'2" from Jamaica.
Wow.
And he had not really played much organized basketball when we got him. We'd watched a very little clip of him dunking in the sticks of Jamaica. And
What movie is that? It's not above the rim.
The air up there.
Oh, the air up there.
That's what it is.
Up there.
I was missing one.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Never talked about. Do you remember that?
Kevin
And
Bacon.
he had a for the basketball nerds, he had a 7'7" wingspan, which would be one of the top in the NBA right now. And he went to Seton Hall and was on the All Big East defensive team, at a pretty high level. And I think he still plays overseas. So 7'2" Romaro Gill.
7'2". Wow. That's cool. I can remember when I was in elementary school at Tecumseh, the VU basketball team came over and they had a guy on their team that he was 7 foot or so, and I can remember him getting on his tippy toes and dunking it, and we thought it was the coolest thing we'd ever seen in our
I
lives.
still think it was the coolest thing. I'm sorry, that's insane.
Yeah.
Something none of us
unreal.
sitting here will do.
Maybe Oreos.
I like,
on a 6 foot goal.
I can lower my goal. Yeah, I love when I lower my goal.
That's right. All right, next question I have. Are you an early riser or a late nighter?
I'm more of a late nighter. My wife has to get up and get to work every day at 6:30, so she gets mad at me trying to watch Suits and some of these shows, but I stay up late, get up early when I need to. We had 5:45 a.m. practice this morning, so that was an early call, but
You'd love that.
I could do it. I wouldn't like it.
No.
I like the 3:15 ones better, but sometimes you don't get to choose that.
That's right. Next question I got, what is your favorite food?
Ooh.
I know you're a food guy. You like
I could be a food
We could
critic.
actually say regular and sweets. You could
Okay.
divide this up.
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's divide it up. We'll do, what is, if you're going to dinner,
What's your entree?
I really like Italian.
Okay.
Okay.
And any kind of pasta, keep it simple, lasagna or chicken parmesan, stuff like that.
All right.
Obviously, any kind of bread to go with it.
So you're more of the red sauce over the Alfredo sauce.
Yeah. I don't like it when people mix it either.
Just had some really good pizza earlier. Without pineapple, by the way.
With pineapple?
I gotta tell you, no, I was thinking about the white sauce. Yeah.
Now, sweets, I like all kinds of, as you know, donuts. Pie. We went to Cheesecake Factory this weekend in Lexington and got a pumpkin cheesecake that was really, really good.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Is it the pumpkin rolls?
Pumpkin rolls,
Pumpkin
yeah.
rolls? Do you like those?
I like anything pumpkin.
Those are amazing. I never had them until I came up here.
So we're in that time frame of the year where everything's pumpkin. If you get your coffee, it's pumpkin spice. If you get any desserts, it's pumpkin something.
Yes.
And I love this time of year.
I do.
Oh, I love the fall. It's my favorite season. You got college football, you got basketball kicking out, you got all the, the weather cooling down a little bit. You got all the pumpkin patches and all the, pumpkin stuff. It's kind of my favorite time of year.
I agree. I would agree with you. So moving on, what is your favorite vacation spot?
I took my first cruise ever. We took this past summer, and we drove down to New Orleans, and then we went to Jamaica, Cayman Islands, and somewhere else. But I'd never been on a cruise, so I don't know if that's necessarily a spot, but I like cruises. I didn't think I would like it, but it was a lot of fun, a lot of activities, and obviously the food and all that stuff. And then I love Las Vegas. And I'm not really a gambler, which is weird, but I just love the lights and the shows and the excitement of Las Vegas.
Without all the water.
Right.
Without the flooding.
With those cruises, I mean, they've got so much to do on the boat. You almost, even when you port, you're almost like, I'll probably just stay on the boat. They got so much cool stuff.
There's all sorts of shows and different trivia things, and I thought, you're going to be on a boat. I'm going to be bored. I'm going to get seasick. But no, there's tons of stuff to do. The food was really good. I didn't get seasick at all. So I want to take another cruise soon.
Yeah. They say on a 7-day cruise, the average person gains 10 pounds. And I'm sure that's probably right.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
There's no shortage of food.
No,
none.
And if the buffet is closed, you can call room service and they bring it to you anytime.
I'm right there with you. I'm completely okay with pool, food, drink. Pool, food, drink.
Yeah.
Just keep that rotation going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
Last question I got for you. If you could have any superpower, what would that be? And it can't be grow hair. Don't do it.
It can be the dunk, man. I mean, it can be.
Superpower. I would not ever losing a game, because being undefeated and winning every game.
Yes.
That count?
That'd be unbelievable.
a good one to have.
Yeah, that would be.
Be a lot less
That's a
stress.
first for us.
Yeah, it is.
Never lose a game.
Just to always win, no matter.
Just think of the recruiting class you would have when you never lost a game.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, you need to come here because we never lose. Sorry.
That would be good.
What is it like to be Saban? I mean, I know he's lost like 3 games, but anyway, pretty cool stuff.
That concludes my quick fire round.
Yeah. Do you have any other shout outs? Because we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, man. I appreciate it very much.
No, I just, you guys are good friends, good Blazer supporters, have been for years, and that means a lot to us. We just hope the fans can come out and come to the Jamboree on October 8th and come out to the season. The guys are working hard. We got a Hall of Fame coach, and Coach Franklin, it's, I think, going on year 14. We have a number of Division I players, so we feel like it's a pretty good brand of basketball, and general admission tickets, something like $5 or $6 for the night. So, like I said, 17 home games. You can find our schedule online at govutrailblazers.com and just come out and see. I think you'll like it if you come out and see the guys play hard and work hard, and they're good people that are good to root for. So, just appreciate your support and having me on, and anytime.
Yeah, guys, he's being humble. You've already heard about how these players, how they end up growing and going to bigger and better things. I mean, D1 basketball and NBA, and so definitely get out there and support your Trailblazers this year. Guys, remember our goal in the show is to bring business owners, leaders, entrepreneurs to our, yes, Brian, you didn't know, your 100,000 plus listeners with their tips and learning moments from business. You'll hear about community happenings and events that you may be interested in or will at least hopefully entertain you. We want to thank our guest, Brian Davis, Vincennes University men's basketball assistant coach, for joining us today, and all of you who tuned in for the show. Please don't forget, put us on your calendar every week on Wednesday at 3 p.m. or catch us live on Facebook or on YouTube. I need to throw that out there. Until next time, from Just the Tips,
I'm John Yoakum.
And I'm Andrew Hines. Folks, have a wonderful week.
Listening to the Talk of the Town
97. Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. Senator Bob Menendez left court without speaking to reporters today. The New Jersey Democrat pleaded not